Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So we are still up banging our head up against that 618 of this diagonal pitch fan we've been using with price action since January of this year, and generally you fail at the 6.5, come down to the 618 and continue a little bit lower. So are we going to do a little bit of the same? Let's go into the liquidity and not waste a single second of your time. I got T-minus 30 minutes till I got to be out of here. I have a student, a board of directors gentleman that I will teach at my house, actually. So I teach him regularly at my house for a car company. So let's go back to this. What is high block, you ask? Well, high block, people lock that liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do it now. The weekend is low liquidity. They pinged in a little bit more longs than shorts here after they came up to this $200 million short pool at 36,806.
Fatality.
And they came back to that wick that they came into to grab that liquidity, and now they're coming back down for some of these longs that were pinged in at that resistance point. 58 million down at that 36,263. Partner in crime of a previous long pool at 36 even to come down to as well. Starting to get a little bit thick on both sides. The overall gist of imbalance on the minute time frame is 931 million in shorts, but we're forgetting a lot of stuff to father time, so we have to expand our vision to the higher time frame pools. So let's start with the 7-day. Switching to the max liquidity here. You have a fair amount on the 7-day up in that 38.5 region we were talking about before we started to peel down here, possibly hitting that. Also starting to ping in some more longs with that burst up there, so some longs are biting the bait and possibly becoming dead weight to the downside. If you go to the monthly time frame, the dead weight to the downside is clearer in terms of seeing an imbalance in the charts form in liquidity to the downside to that 34K region. If we go to the 3-month also insinuating some downside with that liquidity dead weight of the longs. Sweeping that 34K region will definitely stop out a lot in profit and possibly give a order block bounce at that time. So being that patient person to wait for that beneath the sweeping the lows order block area would be a better idea for a discount long. And if you're looking at the 6-month, also we are at a premium level, the long liquidity lurking below. On the 2-year, also that large amount down in that sub 24K range, so at some point retracing back to that into the halving would make the most sense. Coming back to the monthly, starting with that 34K sweep would be lovely to see. So let's go into the charts and see what is going on, what's crack-a-lackin' for BTC. Shout out to everyone here. What's up, APV and Dingo? Yeah, I was just typing some Japanese. I just said good morning and then I said a proverb after that. All right, so let's go ahead and throw on our momentum, the Momo. Check out the Momo in the link in the description, momentummaster.info for more. You can scroll down to that feature, toggle at your leisure, and read each component as it comes into prominence. Read about it. Black Friday coming soon. Button over to the left on your side. So basically unchanged analysis as we entered this low liquidity weekend. The cross up of the baselines here. Wait, why is it lagging? Why is it doing this? That's so weird. Why is it not like live tracking it or whatever? It's supposed to like live track with that. Hold on, let me just reload this. If it doesn't, I mean, it is what it is, but so our live we're basically back to where we started a day ago. Nothing has really changed, but the stochastic should have changed, so we can go ahead and take a look at that. We have reclaimed the cloud on the 4-hour as well as the baselines here. So you have this baseline cross-up event and the cloud being reclaimed on the 4-hour time frame. So this is starting to make that insinuation to hit up into this region we were talking about before with that liquidity zone, that liquidity pool of these $200 million characters up at 37,188. At some point, you're going to have to pay the piper for all these longs that are open and coming down to that 34K region. So coming up into that 37K region and finding a reaction is what we're looking for. It basically is unchanged analysis from yesterday. And this cross-up event of the baselines on the 4-hour, let's go see how that's cascaded. Let's start on the daily. Daily time frame, getting that suppression of the baselines and coming back into the channel here, possibly coming to test that super trend and the flat super trend and the cloud, which is starting to taper to 3 o'clock here. Suppression of the KD lines inbound by this potential Williams dumpage. Even Steven on the money flow and the RSI could possibly come to that 50 level as they hold the line. 22-hour also at an oversold region on the KD lines. Money flow beneath the RSI could come a little bit below that 50 level. Also even Steven on the Williams at 50. Coming to that the 12-hour time frame. The 12-hour time frame also at that even Steven level. Money flow beneath the RSI, but below that 50 level. We had the cross down event here. Cross down still in effect on the 12-hour time frame, and possibly coming to that cloud for that second hit on the 12-hour. 6-hour got that cross up event. You're getting a bunch of false signals, cross up, cross down, cross up. Cloud is thinning though. Something to note here, the angle on the 6-hour, is it giving you that insinuation? A lot of times when there is an ambiguity, I turn to the 8-hour, and the 8-hour gives you a more solid picture, if you will. So we are holding this 8-hour cloud that could possibly take us up for one last hurrah. If you're looking at that 6-hour shift though, starting to thin for the first time, like truly thin for the first time since back here on Monday, October 16th. We did thin and hold the cloud steadily in this progression to the upside, but now we are starting to see a little bit of a sign of weakness on that 6-hour cloud. Interesting to note. 4-hour already started to buckle since back here. and that's now transferring to the 6. Okay, so the 4-hour time frame starting to come up here with the money flow above the RSI, starting to suggest a burst of fatigue after this tops out wherever it decides to top out here. The volume tapering as well as we are on the weekend. If you look at the hourly time frame now starting to reset into a pocket here. The hourly time frame also holding that cloud here. So this cloud formation of the Momentum Master Trinity here, holding that cloud, could potentially bounce off this cloud, come up to here, and then make its descent. So this hourly play coming up to this region, topping out the hourly and the 4-hour in a good position, and then give us a good little 4-hour dump to the downside. If we go to the 15 minute, getting a rising sun event starting to play out here. You had some bullish divergence starting to play into these 4s that are appearing on your stochastic array. Can you make it above this cloud and continue though? This was the key entry model if you were playing the Momentum Master Trinity. You had the super trend, the baselines, and the cloud on your side for that nice little percentile gain in the New York session. If you were looking to scalp, and here this is not what I'd like to see with the super trend broken and the cloud broken, but you could be seeing this hourly cascade event if you turn to the hourly. Once again, we are range bound, so if we are in this range here, you could play each range for what it is worth. But as this cloud insinuates, we are possibly going up on the hourly time frame. So I'd watch the hourly time frame to see what it's doing. One thing that you're getting ambiguous mixed signals on is this cross down event of the baseline here, and the super trend has been respected in the bearish manner here. So we're getting 2 moving against the long signals here. So I'm not expecting this to play out per se, just showing what is in store with the angle here on the cloud. The one thing that has me concerned for any long is this 6-hour cloud here. If we make it and reject beneath this, even if we wick up here, this could be that massive push to the downside that we were looking to recover some of this liquidity below. A sweep of this region would be the healthy play to look for in terms of retracement in order to continue. Let's go see what everyone else is up to. Dingo APV, what's up? We have a little bit more time, so we're going, I'm basically unchanged in this theory. Let's go look a little bit deeper then with the USDT dominance. And the USDT dominance does look like it wants to kiss that cloud, similar to Bitcoin's cloud on the other side of the equation. If we rotate this upside down, looks very similar. So if we come to this cloud, these levels here, basically got that 618 pocket area zone to look out for, and possibly coming up into this region, knocking the people into USDT on the 6-hour time frame. If we go to a daily time frame, where do we stand in terms of regions here? We have recovered. Let's go ahead and put that low there. So we came to this region here, this consolidation range. We could technically sweep down into these little regions below. But by the looks of it, we are potentially going to retest that cloud on the daily time frame here. Starting to get overbought on the daily and haven't really gone anywhere. So this bullishness might continue in terms of putting things into trades. 12-hour time frame, getting that rejection off of the cloud here on the USDT dominance. What are we trying to insinuate here with the USDT dominance? We're trying to see if the rise of USDT dominance will kick people out into the trades or not, or whether it will continue lower. Bullishness continuing would be more downside for USDT. A bearish play would be upside for USDT dominance. So we're trying to see if it will go up and give confluence to the short idea on BTC. So the curvature there on that 12 and 6 hour giving that insinuation point. You had some 4-hour bullish divergence here that is starting to play out. Okay. Very much the same kind of idea, just in reverse. Bitcoin dominance, like looking to recover some status. Came back into that pocket region, came down to the 618 area, but actually a little bit deeper down to that 706 region and bounced out from there. If we go to the daily time frame, this is where we stand on the bullish impulse on the daily time frame. I think we can basically delete this. This is something we were looking at a while ago. So we'll just keep it to the local impulse here for now. So does the dominance continue? I mean, you got some rounded out action. Generally, this is the typical version for that cup and handle idea if the dominance were to rise. Dixie. We're looking at Dixie going lower, and so far it has. But despite this, Bitcoin is going a little bit sideways in that case. As you reach, we've already hit the lower low here. Let's go ahead and see exactly where that is by going to the left. And yeah, you could be coming down into these regions here. Possible to continue all the way down to a double bottom event down here, sweeping this liquidity down below. We've already broken the lows here, considering this to be a C wave. And yeah, that is your dollar. Looking at total three looking to potentially rise up here. Let's go see what's going on here. The total 3 crypto bubbles, what's going on with that? Not really seeing much rise up here. Render, Tau, Phantom Coin. Why are people trading this after that debacle? Is so befuddling to me. Some of the things like the Pepe coin with no CertiK audit, and people trade it. It just shows the stupidity of the masses, because it just doesn't make sense. Why would you risk your capital on something that's not been approved or audited in any way, shape, or form? After all the shenanigans that have occurred, it just, yeah, really turned me off to the whole crypto space, which is why I went to the NASDAQ. So anyway, the 786 bounce here on total, is it going to rise up and continue, or is it creating a head and shoulders pattern to possibly come lower? If we go to the 5-minute chart here, let's go see. There is a gap up in this region here. On the 5-minute, so we could be coming to that level and possibly rejecting off of that. That would only give you about $10 billion of boost before we reject. That 10 billion would be that stop hunt for BTC we were talking about. You are oversold on all those time frames that were locked in there, so the burst idea does make sense. You have this range that it's kind of coming back into for that shoulder idea. Either way, the hourly time frame, just like BTC, looks like it wants to play ball, so let that hourly play ball and see what it does. 4-hour needs to get above that cloud, but we are getting a cross up event on the 4-hour, so getting this to burst up in some manner here. Let's just see how it plays ball. Looks like the total 3 wants to rip a little bit, total 4 as well, or total, rather regular total. All right, so let's go take some comments and or questions, and then we will bid you adieu. Basically unchanged from yesterday. We're just waiting for this 4-hour and hourly play to finish. However, it will. Looks like it's now reclaiming that cloud and cascading that curvature into the hourly time frame cloud here. So does this hourly start to play out? The entry was not now. It was basically on the 15-minute here, down in this cloud zone. Not that far away from where we were, but you would have taken partials up at that burst anyway. So not saying anything, just not my entry model here. This was the entry model, and you would have been able to see that here also on a micro time frame if you saw this basically up in here. Well, it was basically just an equilibrium bounce right off the equilibrium and the super trend. So let's go see what's up. Had to move over to Binance Japan and KYC from Big Binance, so had katakana setting on the keyboard. Yeah, that was Binance did send me a few emails about that. Does anyone have anything they would like me to look at? I have less than 10 minutes for him to arrive. I got to be able to answer the door. So it's interesting to have good discussions with this board of directors guy. He often does golf with all these big wig guys, so I get to hear stuff in the pipeline off the records and stuff with, you know, combustion engines and all that stuff with cars, and how the car auto industry pivoted to try to do the SDG/ESG score thing. ESG is such a joke, but that's for another show. So let's see if you guys have anything to say or ask for. No, if not. So it's pretty straightforward. We're just waiting for this hourly time frame to play out alongside the 4-hour. So we're looking for a range up in here. So this hourly time frame coming up into this region and seeing if there is any fatigue potential in this region. This basically transfers over to here, and this as well, basically unchanged TA from yesterday as we entered the weekly candle close. Does it try to close out strong and get a rejection? Could even come all the way up to here, who knows? The liquidity on the minute time frame suggests that all fatigues up at that 37,918 region. So this new pool that entered 37,918 is the 918 would put you way up here. So there is a pool, a $200 million pool up in this region that it could come back to. So if you're looking for that double top idea on this hourly time frame, we did have these pools from before too. So you could get a tight stop and see what happens, and or wait for confirmation of the 3 hits to the high up here and then take that short, because it could do a major ripperoo up to this region if it decides to do that. You do have this entire range, but no one knows the future. But this current cloud is suggesting upside, so take it to the upside and see where it goes. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the action, the precision